Hey guys, this is Sarah. I am here in downtown Los Angeles outside the Lindy Loft with my bulletproof coffee. I was talking to a friend the other day about some dance stuff, and she encouraged me to share with you guys. So the topic we were talking about was, do followers need to learn to lead? So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and talking to a lot of friends, and I've been hearing a lot about classes now where there's a requirement on or encouragement on the traditional follower side learning to lead and vice versa. And a lot of time this is driven by a gender equality issue, so creating safe spaces, breaking the mold of followers always a female, etc. And I think that's amazing. And at the Lindy Loft, we've always been really welcome to. It does not matter gender. You can do whatever side of the dance you want, whenever you want. But the other motivation behind these classes might sometimes be as a way to empower the followers. So it offers a space where followers are able to take their shot at being more controlling or dominating and doing more of the decision making than maybe they normally wouldn't be able to in the traditional followers role. So that's what I want to talk about today. I'm not going to be diving into the gender aspect of it, but like I said, in full 100% support of that. So I want to talk about follower empowerment, and as a follower, do we need to learn to lead? So when I was 12, I started to learn to dance between the ages of about 10 and 12. And I got to a point where I started to feel kind of bored with the dance. And I felt like in order for me to step up or take the next challenge, as well as also in order for me to feel like I can really express myself fully and take charge, was to learn to lead. So I started to do that in classes. And then as I met Dax and we started training and forming our own ideologies, we started to really redefine what leading and following actually is and means to us. And as you know, Dax and I stem from the philosophy of body leading or body following, which is different than the philosophy of more of arm leading and frame. Both skills are important to know. You're going to see it on the dance floor. But that being said, we really got to explore over the years how our body movement affects the other person. So I'd throw my body into a big hip twist, and what does that do to Dax? And it was really fun to see that. So I will say that I will just make it clear that over the years, probably in the last 8 years, I haven't felt the need to learn to lead in order to feel completely equal and empowered as a follower. So I'll put that out there. Now, I do think it's important to learn both sides of the dance, the higher level you get, to just get more experience. And learning the other side of the dance isn't like you need to, if you're a follower, you need to be like a rock star leader. You just need to know the fundamentals. I think it's just an important skill to have. But that being said, you don't need to learn to lead as a follower if you're trying to find a way to be empowered and have more say in the dance. So let's first, I guess, talk about the definition of what traditionally leading and following is. So at least the way I used to see it as a 12-year-old, was that leading is typically the one side of the dance, and to follow is the other side of the dance. To lead is the one who is more controlling, the deciding leader, meaning the person that says, follower, I want you to go here or here or here. We're going to be doing this move or that move. And the follower's role was about how accurately they can receive the signals and do what the leader wants. And how creative of a follower you were was how much you can kind of sneak in without messing up the lead. And you'll still hear a lot of this. Definitely a lot of these molds are being broken, and followers are being allowed or encouraged to be more speaking their mind and more taking initiative, and I think that's awesome. That being said, so Dax and I, going back to talking about how our body movements affect each other, we started to teach certain moments, like say we were teaching swivels. And Dax would say, leaders, don't make the followers swivel. They can move way better than you're ever gonna be able to make them. So why don't we set up these environments that are very supportive, anchored, and encourage movement? So if you want the follower to swivel, set up this environment, and most likely she's gonna wanna go for it, and she'll do it way better than you forcing anything. And the cool thing about this is when we started talking about setting up these environments, which these environments are everywhere, it became way more freeing for me as a follower, because I felt less like the leader was forcing me to do something and more like I just would find myself in these environments where I was like, I just want to twist my hips, like, and because it was almost passive in a way, or gentle in a way, that I could also choose to say, like, I hear what you're saying, but I just don't feel like it. And there was a lot of freedom there to make up my own mind. So that alone was really empowering. But then as we started to explore this concept more, I was like, well, if leading and following is about setting up these environments, then why can't I be the one to start initiating these environments? And so it started to help us redefine leader and follower. So let's take, for example, let's take the word leader and replace it with the word initiator. And let's take the word follower and replace it with the word responder. And let's think of the idea of initiating and responding not as the initiator is one side of the dance and the responding is one side of the dance, but both sides of the dance need to take equal responsibility and learn equal skill in both. So our goal now is about setting up environments, and who initiates this environment can be from either side. And so we started to explore with this idea, and as we got more comfortable with this, I thought, well, can I do this on the social dance floor with leaders who don't have this same sense of awareness and same ability to respond? And so what was really cool as I explored this idea is, a good example of this is I was talking to a friend, and he was like, well, the terms leader and follower are accurate because it's a leader and follower dance. And I said, well, I lead so many things you don't even know. And he's like, it's called back leading. And I said, no, there's a difference, because back leading is essentially stems back to the definition I was talking about earlier, where one person is controlling the other person, and it's a more kind of forceful feeling situation. And so I'm not grabbing my leader and tuck turning him, but I'm setting up environments that encourage him to either go along with me, or maybe they'll override it. So for example, I can set up an environment now that I have enough refinement and technique behind this idea. I can set up an environment where I'm like, I just want you to swing me out right now, or I really want you to tuck turn me. And I can do it with enough clarity that a lot of times leaders think it's their idea, because I've set the environment up clear enough that they want to do it. And so they're like, yeah, tuck turning makes the most sense right now. And so it gets really fun to kind of see how much influence you can have on the actual flows and the moves of the dance as a follower with people who don't even necessarily know or have that awareness. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you want to learn to lead as a follower because you like the footwork and you just like that side of the dance, like, do it by all means. But don't feel like you have to learn to lead in order to be completely empowered and feel equal. Now, and the same thing leaders. As much as you're focused right now on learning to lead or be the one that initiates everything, it's actually as equally important to learn how to be a responder. Essentially learning to follow, but you don't actually have to learn to follow. You learn the skills of a follower, but on the leader's side. So that being said, it's a skill. It's a skill that you need to learn and refine, that whether you call yourself a leader or a follower, you kind of need to know how to initiate things and how to respond to things and how to set up environments in general. So if you do want to learn more about this, you can do a couple things. You can subscribe to this channel, or you can go to rhythmjuice.com and join our mailing list. That way we're about to release a bunch of new courses, content. We're doing a whole new thing on Rhythm Juice. It's going to be so exciting. So we can keep you posted on that. And also like this video if you did like it, and that way I know that you want to see more of this type of stuff and me just chatting on rooftops. Alright you guys, take care. Bye.